Something really big is happening in AI right now. Seriously, we are witnessing this fundamental shift away from AI that just answers us to AI that actually does things for us. This is it. This is the dawn of the age of AI agents.
And you don't have to take my word for it. This quote from CRN just nails it. We're not talking about another small update here. This is a complete transformation of what AI is and what it's capable of. Think about it. It's a leap from a passive helper to a truly proactive partner. So, what does that actually look like?
Okay, so here's the key difference. We're all familiar with chatbots, right? You ask, it answers. Simple. An AI agent, though, is a doer. You don't just feed it a question, you give it a mission, a goal. And then it can figure out the steps all on its own, use tools like a web browser or your calendar, and actually carry out a whole complex task from start to finish. It's a total game changer.
And look, this isn't some side project cooking up in a lab somewhere. The absolute biggest names in technology are going all in. They're launching major platforms, which tells you everything you need to know about how important this is. Let's see how the tech titans are placing their bets.
What's really fascinating is that they're all coming at this from different directions. You've got OpenAI with its ChatGPT agent zeroing in on your personal productivity. Stuff like scheduling complex trips or analyzing a spreadsheet for you. Then you've got Google DeepMind, which is, aiming for the fences with AlphaEvolve, trying to get AI to create brand new algorithms for science. And then you have startups like Reflection, building agents like Asimov to actually understand and collaborate inside massive, complicated projects.
So we know the big companies are building these powerful platforms. But how does this actually get used inside a business? What does this mean for the day-to-day work of a data scientist or a software engineer?
Snowflake's new agent is a perfect example. A data scientist can just ask a question in plain English, something like, "Hey, what drove our customer churn last quarter?" From that simple prompt, the agent just takes over. It dives into the data, figures out what's important, and then builds an entire machine learning model to predict who might leave next. Just think about that for a second. A workflow that took a highly skilled human being days, maybe even weeks, is now becoming automated.
And this is popping up everywhere. Amazon's AWS is giving developers the building blocks to create their own custom agents. GitHub's Copilot is going way beyond just suggesting a line of code. It's starting to automate tasks like running tests or deploying software. And open source libraries like Agent Lite mean that basically anyone can start playing around with this tech.
But you can probably guess what's coming next. Giving AI this much freedom, the power to act on our behalf across all sorts of different systems, it brings a whole new set of really, really big challenges. With all this power comes a serious need for control.
And this right here, this is the central conflict. It's what every business leader is wrestling with. On one hand, the promise is just incredible. Autonomous execution, unbelievable efficiency gains. But on the other hand, the dangers are just as real. Hidden risks that can cascade through systems, AI acting with zero supervision, and just a total mess when it comes to governance.
Yeah, and this isn't just some far-off fear. Big consulting firms like McKinsey are sounding the alarm bells right now. Think about it. If an agent messes something up, how do you even begin to trace back what it did and why? When it's working on its own, who's watching to make sure it's doing the right thing? These aren't philosophical questions, they're urgent practical problems.
Okay, so with all these risks, how is the industry supposed to move forward? Well, a new framework for managing all this is starting to take shape, and it's built around 4 main pillars.
It's called the TRISM framework. That's for trust, risk, and security management, and it's basically a safety net. You've got governance, which is about setting the rules of the road. Then explainability, which is crucial. You have to be able to understand why the agent did what it did. Third is model ops, which is the technical side of managing these AI models properly. And finally, of course, security, protecting these incredibly powerful agents from being hacked or used for malicious stuff. So even while we're trying to figure out all these huge safety challenges, the technology itself is definitely not waiting around. In fact, some of the most mind-blowing advances are happening in really specific, specialized fields, and they give us a peek into a pretty wild future.
Check this out. The National Institutes of Health has a thing called Gene Agent. It helps scientists make sense of super complex genetic data. But here's the brilliant part. It is constantly fact-checking itself against trusted sources to make sure it's not hallucinating or making stuff up. At the same time, over in hardware design, you have agents like AutoChip that can take a simple description of a computer chip and then just generate the complex engineering blueprints on its own?
And all of this brings us to the final and maybe the deepest challenge of all. As these AI systems get smarter and more capable, top researchers are warning us that the way they think, their internal reasoning, could become so different from ours that it's essentially a black box. Opaque. We might not be able to understand it at all.
So that's the billion-dollar question we're left with, isn't it? As we build AI that can reason and act all by itself, we're not just inventing a new tool. We're potentially creating a new kind of intelligence. And as we race forward to unlock all its incredible potential, the real test will be ensuring that this new intelligence, one that might one day think in ways we can't even comprehend, always stays aligned with our own goals and our own values.